Can I just be real with you for like 30 seconds before we dive into this walkthrough? You need to release more music. And if you haven't released anything yet, you need to get that first song out there. Now, I'm not talking like just opened Ableton like last week and drop a song. I'm talking about like some of you guys that are, I guess, perfectionists. I'm going to show you something now, and I apologize in advance, but this was our first ever Culture Code release song. You don't need any more of that, right? But my point is, we put it out there. We quickly learned that we're not very good at the harder dubstep stuff. But man, this taught us so much just about like the releasing side of things, which is very important. This is if you want a career in music, okay? If you're just super passionate about producing, then keep going. But if you want a career in music, you need to know the other 50%, which is like the releasing and marketing. Now, what if I was to tell you that as like a future bass, melodic bass, whatever, that you can release a song very fast and very cheap? That sounds great, right? This is what happened with this song that I'm about to show you now. So we went onto a website called vocalfy.com. Amazing vocals on there. Super fucking cheap as well. Like I'm talking $34. And you don't need to credit anyone. You keep 100% of the money. But look, man, if you want to fast track this, then feel free to jump on one of my programs with me where we create one of these songs together within 30 days. Released, boom, on Spotify. But for right now, we're going to jump into this full walkthrough of the song called Unbroken. For any of you guys that learn more like conceptually, like from idea, I did actually film all of this as a course on the Academy. So if you want to become a member, you can watch all of that, showing how this song started from scratch, adding each sound in one by one. But for this one, we're going to break down how the song was actually created as a whole. So let's dive in. Sweet. Let me show you the vocals real quick. I mean, this is what I'm talking about when I say high quality. Like I just used the fucking wet vocal and it was good to go. Here it is. One EQ on there.
We're under fire, emotions are changing, and I don't know why. Down to the wire.
Let's show the chorus.
Pick myself up, fake love. Hey, didn't notice me. Why?
Super high quality, right? And that's my point here. That was $34. The downside, of course, is that anyone can use this, but fuck, we've put it out over a month ago. We've had 120,000 streams overall across Spotify and YouTube, and I'm yet to see anyone like, hey, someone else has used this vocal. And even if they did, I guarantee it's going to be a producer. You know, I guarantee it's not going to be like listeners, your potential fan base that's going to be bothered by this. But as I say, I'm yet to see anything. So let's go. All right. So we've got the vocal. I think the first thing I probably started with was, it's going to be the piano, right? Okay, so for anyone that doesn't know, this is my Keyscape rack. It's just Keyscape with, I'm pretty sure it's a cinematic preset on warm. But if I turn all this other stuff off, fuck me. All right, turn all these off, and then turn all these off. This is what it sounds like raw. Still pretty nice, to be honest, but you had a bit of reverb, had a bit of OTT. Just makes it warmer on the low end, especially because I've turned off this high. I had a bit of RC20, so I think I don't know what I've done here. Okay, I've added an RC20 that's just like, it's like a chain, so this is the dry, this is the RC20, here's what that's doing. Just providing some vinyl texture on top of the piano. Whew, that's nice. Was this on? I guess it was. Okay, it gets automated on or off. We'll get to it. Decapitator. Okay, that's for probably the outro. quickly go over there. Just make sure that I'm not lying. Mix. Yeah, it's just to do this. And then that shuts it off. Cool. All right, so that's the piano, but very importantly, it's not the same as just putting in piano chords, right? So here's the voicings, but like I see a lot of sessions where it's like guys come in and their piano just kind of looks like that, and probably not like that either. There is a huge difference between that and just feels more alive now. It feels more human. But let's quickly break down this intro. What's going on here? Is this the piano again? Oh, just top notes. And I've recorded it out just because I don't need to have a whole MIDI for that. I would have just faded that in automation wise with some utility. This is... Okay, I get it now. So at the start of the track, I wanted it to feel dark and then switch to being like more open and like pretty and stuff. So if I show you them two real quick with the vocal.
We're under fire, emotions are changing, and I don't know why. Down to the wire, I can't explain it, you've been quiet.
Here we go.
So I pick myself up.
And, you know, you just feel that switch in energy and like emotion. It goes from dark to uplifting. And I did it as well as like a lyrical thing. She says, should I pick myself up? And I'm like, okay, that's a moment then to kind of bring the mood up. It's hopeful. But these are cool. So what's going on here? Standard reverb reverse. And then there's this Cara reverse thing as well. They just lead really nicely into the...
We're under fire, emotions are
Huge part of this is this atmosphere. This is really important to note as well. Notice how we go from when it's dark, we have a minor atmosphere in there. And then when it gets light, we go with this guy. Let's listen to this. God damn. Like, that emotionally just changes everything. And there's not actually much going on there other than a couple effects here and there. I'm a big fan of low impacts. Very cinematic sounding. That's just the Horizons one from Lonely Studios. You can see I'm a big fan of Lonely Studios. They do Horizons and they do Brighter Days sample packs and preset packs. They're fucking brilliant. Super easy auto pan trick. This is it. Just I like using sweep downs as transitional elements because you can just bring them in. You can do a fade like that. But then if you throw an auto pan on there and automate a couple of these guys. Obviously you have to turn the phase down to 0 because if the phase is where it usually is, it's only affecting the sides, whereas this now affects just volume. But yeah, that helps to tie in that section.
We're under fire, emotions are changing.
Okay, so we've heard all that. Let's quickly go over the effects here. So I'll even bring in effects that are quite like open. And then just cut the top end off them. Okay, so this is really cool for extending like the tails on shit when you want it to last longer, because like this on its own just didn't last long enough. You can hear by here it's kind of already disappeared, where if you put like a reverb on quite long, quite high in the mix, and then you throw an OTT after it, it just makes it fucking go on forever. Helps massively with transitions. Okay, so some more shit comes in the verse here. Obviously we've got the piano we just saw. All this dies off quite naturally by the looks of it. Yep. We've got a Serum doing... nice little pad. You can see looks like I've used the same MIDI from the piano, except instead of these being like, you know, like that, it's just low passed. I'm guessing this is a respace. Good old flume res. Looks like the filter's just been opened. Now, what's causing that? It's probably an auto pan on. Maybe I lied. Nah, there's gotta be one. Uh-oh. There's gotta be one somewhere. Oh, verse, but oh, there we go. Okay, so I created a verse bus because I'm guessing I've sent some of the atmospheres are going there as well. And the effects. Oh, no, they're not. So just the atmospheres and the verse stuff itself are going to here. The reason I did this rather than just put in like the same auto pan on that and that is because I wanted to make sure they were 100% synced. So like the only way to really know that is to send them both to the same one. So it's, other than that, it's not a big deal. Okay, we got some more. Don't know why that's not playing. Oh, this is off. Okay, so that's just some reverse reverb ambience. I'm not really going to break that down how I did that now because it's in one of my other videos. If you check out my video that's like 7 production tips that I wish I knew, it's on the YouTube channel. You'll find that. I think it's number 1. Tip number 1. It's absolutely amazing for filling out vocals. Just listen to this shit. It's so good for atmosphere stuff. Oh, we forgot about the Eyes Wide Shut lead as well. One of my favorite leads. It's so simple, but like, man, this guy fills out a track. It's such a simple lead as well. You just make you make it really, really thin, and then like just listen to it with all this. Let's go back to vocals. Looks like we've got some. Have we? Oh, yeah. Okay. Went a little bit differently on this. Sometimes I have like the whole chorus being, you know. I wanted just like these two here to be, I wanted this oh shit to be kind of just on its own floaty, and then this to be really thick with the vocoder. So the way the vocoder works is I use a plugin called Morph. So if we listen to this, super simple patch, just like turn on Serum, 12 there. I mean, this doesn't really matter as much as I do it kind of random. It's more about the detune. This is an octave higher, but it's less in volume. But that doesn't, you know, we turn that off, you don't hear that, but it gets triggered by this morph. So you send the sidechain to the Serum so that it picks up its thing. By default, it's down here, right? So it's like this. The more, you know, A is the original, B is the modulator. So when you go in between, that's some OTC and shit on there. Just makes it a little bit more thicker and warmer. Sounds great with the vocals though.
Honestly, can't see wide open.
Cool. Right, what else we got going on here? All right, so the piano's got bigger. And we've got rid of the 2-hit thing. Guys, my fucking terminology is so bad. I don't know the word for it, but we're not doing this as a double hit anymore. And like I say, for any of you guys that want to see how this was made like in the moment, because I know, for me at least, I'm a big fan of live streams, so I learn that way as well. I'm going to include a link in the description so that you can just become a member and watch the course in full so that you can see this being made. Yeah. So that just carries on the whole way through the chorus like that. We've still got the pad. Still not fully open yet either. I don't think it ever does fully open. We've brought in some hand Zimmer strings. Oh, that was anticlimactic. All right, they come in here. They kind of fade in, you know. They're doing their thing at the bottom. Whew. Okay. Where are we at? I fucking love doing this. Like you bring it up to the one chord and you just let it drop back down the next one. Like it'll make more sense here if I keep that. Yep. And then back up. And you do that by modulating the, it's number one on the CC, it's like the mod wheel, but it's actually linked to a parameter called dynamics. To quickly explain what dynamics does, when a library is recorded, they get the players to play like soft, you know, like do a C soft, do a C a little bit harder, do a C at your like maximum. And then what dynamics does is when you go through it and you automate it, it goes through those motions. So rather than just automating a gain and having your dynamics at full, you would just have a maximum played notes, just loud and quiet. Whereas this, it actually goes from soft to, you know, it's way more realistic because it's what they would actually do. Same with piano, by the way. That's why I drop velocities and then bring it back up with volume rather than just automate volume. All right, we got more Eyes Wide Shut lead. Let's go. Sounds a bit more open, that doesn't that one? Yeah. Let's hear that with the piano. It's all about how they harmonize. Just to note as well, when it comes to strings, I try and keep a lot of the lines as close as possible because I'm thinking like an orchestra. Orchestra. Yeah, orchestra. Where, you know, this would be 4 players, right? So you got your guy or gal up here doing F, and then, you know, she might drop down to the E. You've got this dude that's just like straight on C, like he's fucking bored. You got this one that's like F, an octave lower, and it goes up to a G. And this one here is having the most fun, you know, every single note's different. And that keeps it realistic because you're not going to have these orchestra players jumping about a lot. They're kind of going to be doing these lines, very, very, you know, subtle movements, but all come together as really nice chords like this. Some of them are going to be a bit, you know, monotonous, and then you're going to have moments where they just all sort of do something a little bit different, and it's going to be beautiful. And then, you know, on this bit, you get someone else that comes in doing these guys. That's just the way I think about it anyway. Cool. Then we've got whatever the fuck this is. Oh, okay. That's a plugin called Emotional Cello in Kontakt, and just listen to these two together. Oh man. Hey, here's my really bad guitar playing. You will see this live in the course, by the way, if you're going to do that. Do you know what? It's not as bad as I thought. It's not fucking great by any means, but it's not bad. Alright, let's break this down real quick, just for anyone that wants to see how to do decent guitar. Tame some of that shit. Dark wide open. Don't think I've ever used that in my life. And I apologize to anyone that had to witness me going through however many guitar rig presets to get there as well. More EQ because it's a bit boomy now. Yep. OTT, just bring it all together a little bit more. And good old Echo Boy, just to probably ping pong in it. Yep. Don't sound like much, but in the track it sounds pretty cool. Now you might ask, Chris, why didn't you just use Electric Sunburst for a task like this? It's because I am a huge fan of all this kind of shit, like these bits. To me, that's what makes it sound authentic and real. It's like the slides and the imperfections. It don't sound perfect by any means. It's only an underlying thing. If I was going to go for a top line guitar, I would, you know, probably hit up like my buddy Nat from he was in Kessler, but he's excellent at guitars. So I would go with someone like him, or my old guitar teacher Lewis, who's done a lot of our guitars and other songs. But because this is an underlying thing, I'm happy to kind of just let it do its thing and not be the forefront. Okay, so we move on. We bring back the respace. Way more open. I think we've just left it there. This is kind of opening, but I'm a big fan of textural stuff, so you can hear on there's like raindrops or some shit. Oh, it actually says raindrops there. That's still doing its thing. All right, this is new. More pads. Some violas or violins. Which one is it? Violas. play that with the strings. We're bringing even more. That's got to be violins. Yep. Well, okay, that guy's fully open by there. As you can see as well, we're very like subtly opening. We're giving it more volume as it goes on. We're going from like 0 dB to +4. I'm a big fan of like dynamics in a track, like just opening a track up as it goes. Even just using the same instrument you've already been using, because that, you know, you don't have to keep layering and layering and layering and layering. You can make stuff sound good with just a few. Obviously, we've added more in, but we ain't going crazy. That's pretty much it. They'll kind of change here, and I'll get to that in a sec. Obviously, the atmospheres are bulked up a bit now. Try that in context. Oh, my bad, guys. We skipped out on some drums here. I mean, that's just random. Is that a bit of a roll? Yeah. So I remember doing this at the time, and I know this sounds totally random, but like I wanted something that had a bit of rhythm, but I didn't want to go full on like your typical future bass drums with like a rim shot and shit like that. So I wanted something that was kind of like low pass, panning, obviously. This midnight thing's pretty cool. Just on Ableton, just type in midnight. It just kind of cuts off the tops and lows and accentuates the mids. But with this shit, it sounds really cool. Cinematic vibes. We got, yeah. Possibly damage. Sweet. Okay. I mean, let's just look at the vocal real quick because it looks like... Okay, we've got this. Fuck me. Okay. Yeah, it's just... They included this bit of the vocal themselves. I think this is part of like a chop or something, but I used it on the build. And I've just added like some reverb and some delay, and then it's just the chain, just so that you can have him in the track rather than doing sends. I've obviously took away a bit of tops, a little bit of that. I mean, I think I took away a bit of tops. I feel like my reasoning there would have been so that when the drop hits, everything's a bit more open. I think. Drums. The drums are pretty cool. I like these marching snares. So obviously we've still got these two guys going. They don't look like they changed, to be honest. And we've got, is this a reverse crash? No, it's like a snare roll thing. Little loop. Looks like I've chopped it up a little bit to make it fit the rhythm that I was going for. some offbeat taikos. I didn't have them soloed. That's awkward. Yeah, really simple to be honest. I think a lot of it's come from this. Just got some, you know, little bit of reverb. Looks like I went for a preset in the small drum studio. Maybe I changed it. Can't remember. And then just a little bit of drum bus, like 27%. So it's a mixture of these two guys. And then what you do is you figure out what you want your core idea to be, which is obviously the marching snares. And then you just come up with ways to enhance it. Little hits here and there. As you can see, there's no processing on these guys. Maybe there's some on the group. Yeah. All right, so it looks a bit like some parallel processing going on here. So I'm guessing I felt like there wasn't filled out quite enough. So let's turn all this off, go one by one. Fuck. Lower the drive, low cut, tone up. Aiming way more at the high end. Thermal. Whew. Alright, it's not being automated or anything. It's just a preset from, I don't know, is it the start here bit? No. Probably a drums preset, but the preset's called overhead. Yeah, it would be a drums then. Artifactor. Just sounds fucking crunchy. Then the sound delay plugin, it's just delay. It is just delay. It's creating the Haas effect. So it's making the right side come out this headphone speaker ever so like quickly after the left. So it gives you the perception of width. Some reverb. And then mix that with the dry signal. Yep, just helps fill that out a lot. And that's the build-up drums. Yeah, nothing else going on there. Verses are still doing their thing. Only difference that happens is on this measure here, it just holds. And that's where that cool thermal bit kicks in. So everything else it literally just holds on that chord, just holds. All the stuff that can be held holds. Obviously that would sound pretty boring. No, it looks like the master dry wet gets automated. Yeah, it goes from like 0 to 10% there, and then goes up to 18%. like I said, big fan of sweeps for transitions. I've got this massive riser rack. It's fucking cool. Sounds very old school, nostalgic. Like Zed in his prime. I know it's a big deal still, but you know what I mean? Like I'm talking like Spectrum days. And all it's doing is just like, it's doing all these things here, right? So the pitch is going up, the filter's opening, it gets faster. Reverb increases, volume increases. And then I've got this auto pan, so you'll hear it kind of just go crazy left to right. And then dead. You've probably found a million loops or samples like that on Splice, but I just wanted to create one just for the good old days in Massive. And this is the first time that we hear the melody get introduced. So it's made up of three things. It's two Spires and one Serum. I went with Spire because like the track had like a trancey feel to me, so I wanted to Spire's like a trancey plugin. Let's turn Thermal off for now. Here's what it sounds like. That's one. That's two. Here's three. Very, trancey, RP build type sound. Obviously, then you bring in the thermal. And that is a perfect way of making something that you've already got sound more interesting if you hold it on for a long time. Because otherwise it's just rinse and repeat, right? But with this thermal, you get all these glitchy... It's very kind of chaotic and really good for a build. Atmospheres will hold out. Yep, that's pretty much it for that. Quickly touch on the vocals because they're a big part of it. I'm a big fan of doing that. That was just, I think it was manual or it was an Echo Boy that I've frozen down for some reason. And then you got this guy on the build as well. I think it was not decapitated, thermal. If it weren't thermal, it probably Portal. Sorry guys, I really don't remember. That sounds fucking cool as well. I don't remember how that was done. Probably sounds a bit Portal-y actually. Or Stutter Edit. God damn, I can't remember. Or thermal. It's got that kind of that on-off glitchiness. Maybe it was thermal. Obviously, I was a big fan of thermal in this song. I wish I could show you how that was done. Now, the released version sounds a bit bigger than that, especially on the build and stuff, because I got to the master project and I added a couple things to enhance it. But we'll quickly go through this. So we've got drums. So we've got one just big kick here. And then we've got, I mean, I've put some R bass on it. Without that. Just a bit warmer. And then I just took a little bit of that out. And then it's got 3 snares. So we got 1. Some OTT cranked. Just making it last a bit longer and a bit crunchier. Enhancing that fundamental frequency. And then just for like the clap of it, and then, you know. So we've got some small fade-ins because I only wanted to clap. This we don't have anything on, and this we have a bit of a fade-in as well. Cool. Tops. I imagine that I've pitched all these differently. That's that. That one's down a little bit in volume and pitched up slightly, down slightly. And yeah, I've kind of gone through and randomized all these so that they sound a bit more realistic, or at least just a little bit like less the same. That's it for drums. Drop. This is usually the bit that everyone wants to see. Sub, pretty standard. It's just a sine wave. A lot of the audibleness comes from the saturation. Obviously, the more we saturate, the more harmonics we add. So if that's, so we just want to do it. So you want to do it a little bit because obviously, the more you add, the more power you lose down the bottom end because you've got so much spread. So you just want to do it a little bit so that you get a little bit of more like power and feel from it, but you don't take away from the low. Then we've got mid basses. Anyone that knows me, done a session with me, program with me, knows that this is my favorite bass right now, 25. And it's because of this guy. You know, you throw LFO1 onto this. So if we take that away, I mean, it still sounds pretty cool, really raspy and whatever, but like you increase this and you get this movement. Such a, like a short, like a long, not short, long rate as well. It's usually on like this. That's honestly all I do in there. Give it some distortion. I love how I just said that like it wasn't a big part of the sound. This KHS distortion is pretty fucking good, man. It's free as well, so I recommend you try that out. Obviously, cut out the sub-region, cut out a little bit of like low mud, and then cut out some of those crazy highs. Sweet, then very, is that Fairlane sound? Fairlane. Almost quite similar in characteristics. Obviously not as gritty on the top end, but very similar characteristically. And that's kind of what I look for, because when they come together, they have different purposes. This one's way more central, way more mid-heavy. This one's a bit more gritty and a bit more like moving. And they come together as one big thing. And we've gone for a third one. Ah, the good old angry bass. Just, you know, standard. There it is. Fucking cranking it with KHS distortion again. This quantized one is just nuts. I don't know what it's doing, but every time I put something through that, it just gets this like massive, almost like digitally distortion. If you want to destroy a sound, throw it through that. Like I said, anyone that's ever been on a session with me knows that this is how I go about it. I need these drums and this low end to work before I move on. It's got everything I'm looking for. It's got punchy drums, they cut through, and it's got a bass that really fills out and gives power to that low end. Then we move on. All right, my CC chords from my Serum pack. If you don't have this, you can grab it off the Sound Horizon Discord. Let's quickly show you the very choppy chords, like spaces in between and shit. The velocities don't matter. AU5 Chaos Saw. This thing's sick. And then this, probably Flaming. I couldn't tell you what that was. Don't know. But it's adding that low, like kind of like mid-run. It's adding that mid-range punch to the chords. That's sick. Yeah, can fully feel that. All right, leads. All right, we've got 4 leads going on here. One of them is bound to be the square lead. Fucking hell, it's not. Serum? No idea. I'm a big fan of going on Splice, right, and just typing in like lead and going through the presets and just kind of dragging them in, see how they fit over like the chords and stuff. I guess that's what happened here. So that's like a very trancey but crunchy lead. Let me just show you with the chords as well, like what I mean when I bring this shit in. Yeah, it just works. And you can see here, like I've not done anything to it. I've just found very, very big, if you didn't know, on sound selection. So I've just found a really good preset, dragged it in. Works. Next. I'm a big fan of this lead, this massive sublime lead. And we had another one in. All right, that is cool. And you guys can see I'm literally not doing anything to these apart from just mixing them and volumes. That's it. This one's obviously had a bit more. Oh, this is the Orchid Drops lead. I'm a big fan of this one as well. It just adds airiness to everything. And you can see here, these are just doing very bad minimum. Like this is just, I was taking it at lows, but the OTT's not doing that much. And this one's just taking away a bit of highs, just so that I'm guessing this white noise. Damn, is there no white noise in this? Sheesh. Maybe I'll put some in the next one. But yeah, so that's all the leads altogether. Sick. Now that is this. I just recorded it as one file and then took out a load of lows, even some like mid-range, and just so it's more top end. Bring back in the eyes wide shut lead. Obviously, we made the second half a bit bigger, so we've got a little fill thing here. It's really simple. So this guy, boom, 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 it holds out, and then you've got like a little knock for the end. Sweet. And then while that's happening, let's see what happens here. And then when you take away the lows, it really helps for the fills to stand out. That's why you can hear the fill a lot more on this side of it than you can this side, because the low end kind of creeps back in. But that's fine. And then we've got some loopy things. You know what? Listening to that now, I probably should have done this. And then the drums just kind of filter out somewhere. Is it this? Yeah. They kind of just filter out so that for the transition. Cool. Oh, I didn't show you this, whatever this is. I think it's just the chop on top. Just making it really wide. Yeah, and that's everything, to be honest. I think I've got a little riser going on here as well. Yeah. This fades back in for the transition to help go into verse 2. All right, let's rock. Verse 2. I'm a big fan of like taking what we've got here, bringing it over here, and then just making alterations. This was a big alteration because we changed the chord progression. And I think I've got a redux or something on there. Eruption. That's cool. I thought, like, you know, it could be cool to change the chord progression to keep it interesting.
Can you be honest? Do you believe that we can make it out? Or have you forgotten that I pick myself up for the 100th time? I wipe my eyes and try to fake love. I don't know why I stay so silent.
All the rest of it's the same, you know, I got the respace. That had to be changed. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Exact same. Alright, here's where the ARP comes in. So we got like lab soft piano doing its little soft piano thing. A lot of reverb. Shimmer on there. Octave up at that bit. So just to break it down, everything that's there. And then same thing happens again. We just hold that verse out into the build. And then for the fake out, we go just a kick on its own. And then bam, all starts there. So for that, we obviously have the whole stack. Except we start with the bass taken out. And then from when the when the snare hits, then we take away like the bass there anyway. So that's like, oh, we're bringing it back, it's gone, and then bam, just full impact. Probably got a bit of a riser going on here as well. Yep. Honestly, that is it. And then for the outro, oh, what's this? I don't know what. Oh, okay. Threw a shaper box on there. Only turns on for this bit. It's got some volume shit going on. Some panning and some liquid. Kind of thought it'd be nice to do this whole holding piano thing, like the intro. It's kind of like intro, outro type deal. And that's it. And everything just... got some little effect at the end here. Maybe it's a sweep or something. There we go. And then I'm just going to quickly open the mastered version. Well, I didn't master it, but I put it in here to master it to show you guys how to master it during the program. But then I told you, full transparency, I'm going to send it off for mastering because that's how we do it nowadays. Just because our guy does it way better than us. But I believe I added some more stuff in this project that I think is going to be beneficial for you to see. Because it's like, you can get to the end of something and then sometimes you go away, come back, listen, and it's like, okay, this and this and this will make it sound even better. And that's kind of what happened here. So let's skip to it now. Right, here we go. What am I missing? Nothing. Fuck me, some stuff got added in this project, right? Holy shit. Alright. What's this? Alright, so we've got like a Hans Zimmer violin thing. I guess to enhance what's going on in this section. And they're kind of like pan left and right as well. And I've got this Opus doing... I think it's a cello, but I don't know. Yeah, solo cello. Alright, big change there. I was like, nope, needs an impact, needs like reverses and shit. Because without that... Like, what was I thinking? All right, so real simple. Here we've got an impact from Dark Cloud. Kind of just boosted the lows, took away some highs. We've got a reverse from AU5. Fucking love this reverse. It's just, you know, it's textural. Love it. I think that's the Simps reversing into itself. I think I recorded it, reversed it. Another AU5 thing. It's his acoustic ride reversed. And then this is this, but I think I've reversed it and then put a thermal on it. Just make, I like that digital glitchy sound. Exhaust hits on the, there's our white noise that we were missing the first time round. Comes to here. Just adds that dun dun that you just barely hear in the background, but I love it.
Can you be honest?
Some sweepy guys.
Can you be honest now?
I fucking love this. Found it on Splice. I was like, yeah, I want to try and worm this in there somehow. But in the track, it just sounds so cool.
Believe that we can make it out. Or have you forgotten that I'm here?
Oh, this is.
Tell me now.
And then we got this guy doing a little shaper box thing. It's one of my classic sweep transitions. Filtered and then just more interesting, you know?
Yeah, tell me now. So I pick myself up.
Oh, I love this bit. Okay, so we just go fucking crazy with the brass here and like just make it a real orchestral moment. So what's going on here is we've got this. Accompanied by this. I love doing orchestral music. So yeah, obviously it's just gradually getting more and more bigger. Great words, Chris. It just grows and grows, you know, until like it peaks there and kind of comes back down. But with these, I'll just show you. And then hold on, there's this. But all together with this stuff as well. In context. Love it. And then we got this guy come back. I'm not sure what this is. Even bigger on this one. Yep, that's it then. This melody comes back in. And that's honestly everything. That's the whole shebang. Sorry about any of the stuff that's missing. Like I say, if you want to check out the course, then feel free to. You probably learn some more stuff by watching me in the moment create it. Or at the very least, you'll see some of the stuff that was frozen, as it was made. But I will say this, there's a 5th module just about to drop. And that module is all about the techniques and the strategies I did to promote the song when it came out. I wanted this to be an all-rounder course. I wanted you to learn production and marketing from it. So that's about to drop any day now. So links in the description if you do want to check it out. Yeah, man, I really hope you guys learned a lot from this one. It was a really cool track. It's like cinematic meets electronic, and I really like that. So hope you guys got some value from it. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.